You know, as long as Errol Spence brings his best performance, his A game, I know for a fact that you're going to see one of the performances that you have never seen out of him. And people's going to be like, wow. That's why he's considered one of the best in the world.
You think you guys would get the credit, you know, with the fact that
they're gonna move the goalposts to me. They're gonna move the goalposts to me, but as long as we accomplish what one of the main goals Terence wants to accomplish, I'm fine with that. I don't give a damn about what nobody think about us after this fight is over with. Yes, he's legitimately a welterweight now. He's legitimately a welterweight, and this is where they messed up at. They should have got him when we first came to 140 because he just cleared the division out. He was there to fight, so we must move up to 47. And so as he was moving up, he's getting bigger and bigger. And not only is he getting bigger, he's getting wiser. And that's the great part about, you know, going into this fight, is that his ring IQ is elevated, his weight is elevated in the right way, not just put on just weight. I'm talking about stronger, faster, meaner. I mean, just the whole total 147 welterweight division package that you need to conquer the division.
We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Terence Crawford has added weight and he's getting bigger and stronger, says his manager and trainer, Brian McIntyre. What I want to talk about in this video, what up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. We unpack Terence Crawford. You guys see these pictures. He started camp and he looked, I would say, a bit huskier. You know, he looked like he put on some mass and put on some size. Now, I got some things to say about that. Ego Weight Watchers, aka Ill. I'll give you a look into the fighter lifestyle before, after progress picks, especially when they have an upcoming fight. Now you know what's about to go down. It's about to go down July 29th. Now this is also a recent picture of Terence Bud Crawford. Now, I guess my question is, Terence Crawford choosing to bulk up is interesting for a few reasons. And I'm gonna break that down. Anytime Terence Crawford's team talks about Errol Spence, it seems as if, to me, they undermined Errol Spence's skill, his size, his accomplishments, and his overall boxing prowess and ability. So Crawford looking Bruce Lee shredded, as you guys see in this picture, and it's looked like he actually put on muscle mass, or that was the intent, to try to armor his body to be able to take the Errol Spence body shots. That's what it looks like to me. So my thing is this: if what Team Crawford is saying is in fact true, and they truly believe Errol Spence is not necessarily the toughest fight that they've had, not necessarily the best fighter that they fought, Errol Spence is basic, Errol Spence gets hit too much, all of these various things that we've heard from Crawford and his team in the buildup, it would seem like to me that you would not seemingly be having your best camp and enter the camp the biggest we've ever seen you, right? So to me, I just find that funny. I don't believe what Crawford's team is saying when they say Errol Spence ain't this, ain't that. None of his fights impressed them. You know, Bomac said this in a recent interview, that Terence Crawford is gonna win and Errol Spence is a media creation. I don't believe these things. Like, this is old footage of Terence Crawford in his previous division, and you look at him there versus you look at him now, and he's clearly added on muscle mass as he's moved up. And the other thing that I find funny with what Bomac said at the beginning of this video is this, and I'm gonna break down some of it as I read the quotes. He says, quote, "As long as Errol Spence brings his A game, I know for a fact that you're gonna see a performance you've never seen out of Terence Crawford." Why would it take Errol Spence bringing any type of performance to have a spectacular performance from Terence Crawford? I don't really understand that. And it reminds me, Errol Spence was at his media day and somebody said, would you feel ashamed or something like that, one of the reporters, if it was a one-sided beatdown? That was like one of the first questions when they went to the Q&A session with Errol Spence. And I remember, and you guys can go watch the media day with Errol Spence. I remember Errol Spence kind of laughed and chuckled and he said, nah, I'm not going to be mad if it's a one-sided performance, you know, and he keeps saying in the buildup it's going to be a one-sided butt whooping. But you have Crawford's team saying, and I quote, as long as Errol brings his A game, I know for a fact you're going to see a performance that you've never seen out of Terence. Again, my question is this. If Team Crawford is confident and believes what they're saying, why does it require or take Errol Spence to bring his A game? No matter if Errol brings his A, B, C, D, or F game, you can have the performance that you want, if that makes any sense. Like, if there's 30 students in a class and I'm one of them and I'm going to take a test and I know I'm fully prepared for that test and I've studied, I've done the research, I've memorized what I needed to, I have a great memory, these types of things. It literally does not matter what the other 29 students do or how they place. That literally has no bearing on my performance. And that's the same thing. Like you look at, let's say, back to boxing, Floyd Mayweather, it don't matter what game he brought. If it was his best game, if it was his worst game, Floyd is out there for the victory. So Crawford, his team says these statements, and it seems to me like the energy has shifted. When the fight wasn't announced, they would say stuff like, oh, Errol Spence, we're going to beat the F out of this guy. We're going to F this dude up, mark my words. These are some of the things that they said when there was no fight actually signed, sealed, and delivered. Immediately after Errol Spence beat Ugas, they said this. But now, it's like, now that the fight is days away, like almost about a week away, as of me recording this video, probably less than a week, 6 days away, there's less trash talking. There's been some concern from Team Crawford. They've said, Bomac did an interview at the media day for Crawford, and he says, this is our first fight with PBC. I made a video about it also, so it's up to you guys to subscribe. They said, this is our first fight with PBC, and we don't know how that's going to go, this, that, and the third. But in the same media day, they said that Errol Spence was a media creation. He said, Bomac said that Errol Spence, basically his career has been fabricated and the media put labels on Errol Spence and made him out to be this great fighter, but nothing that he's done or no performance has impressed them to the point where they believe it. He's just a media created fighter, which sounds laughable when he has 3 of the 4 belts. And in order to get 3 of those 4 belts, Errol Spence had to get it out the mud and earn those 3 titles from 3 separate champions, 3 separate scenarios, 3 separate styles. Errol Spence went one by one, man down, strap season, and took their strap. And then he said, Terence Crawford, I'm coming for your ish too, right? So I'm just peeping the play, and I see the energy has completely shifted for Team Crawford. They're saying stuff like he's a media hype, a media creation, but then saying we're worried about the judging. Tim Bradley did this as well. Then the other thing that he said that I want to break down this unpack, Bomac says, as you guys heard in the beginning, they're going to move the goalpost. What goalpost has there been for Terence Crawford for fights like David Avanesian? Honestly, you fought David Avanesian on BLK Prime, which is a platform many people had never heard about. So there was no real standard for a fight like that. Nobody with any level of intelligence that was not affiliated with Avanesian really felt that Avanesian was the man to defeat Terence Crawford, who's 30 plus wins, 38-0, whatever he was in that particular fight. Nobody really said that. So what is Bomac talking about? They're going to move the goalpost. Unfortunately for Team Crawford, there really wasn't a goalpost for many of his fights. People just rock with Crawford, likes the way he fights, likes, the personality or whatever they liked about him, and they just wanted to see him do well. But let's not act like a shot Jose Benavidez Jr. or Jeff Horn or a chinless Amir Khan who had got his chin decimated 2 fights previously to Canelo Alvarez, them being on the menu was a mountain that you thought Crawford couldn't climb. Nobody felt this way. So I don't understand why Team Crawford keeps saying that the fans and the media are going to move the goalpost. Errol Spence is a great win. Should you beat him, people will give you credit, period. The other thing that he said in this interview you heard at the beginning, I don't give a dang about what anyone says and thinks about this fight after it's over with. What does that even mean? You don't care what anybody says? You guys said you're going to knock out Errol Spence, so I don't even understand that statement. Now, I'm putting it on the screen so you guys can again hear the statement from Bomac, Crawford's trainer. I don't give a damn about what anyone thinks about after this fight is over. If you are going to do what Team Crawford has said, like destroy Errol Spence, F this dude up, knock this man out, etc., then why would your stance seemingly be so negative? We don't care what people say after the fight. Listen, you guys got to listen to my breakdowns. I'm very deliberate, and the things I say them for a reason. I'm asking you as boxing fans to put your thinking caps on and explain some of these questions that I pose. Just close your eyes, hear my voice, and answer these questions and tell me if this is true confidence that they think they're going to topple Errol Spence this Saturday in Spence Crawford. If what you've been saying to this point, Errol is a media creation, Errol is basic, Errol gets hit too much, Crawford is going to F this dude up, mark my words. Why would you be doing interviews at Crawford's media day saying you don't care what anyone thinks after this fight is over? It really doesn't sound like the stance of somebody who's almost preparing for this legendary performance. If you're like, I don't care what people say after this, you should care what people say. If you're doing the performance that you say you're going to do, why do you kind of have this negative outlook as if people aren't going to give you credit? People are going to move the goalposts. You literally said you're going to knock Errol Spence out. How can people move the goalposts? What goalposts can they move? This is a fight for undisputed. So based on the negativity that I'm hearing, this sounds like a lack of confidence to me. You're saying you don't care what people are going to say after this fight, and you're negative in your assessment that people aren't going to give credit and they're going to move the goalpost. If Crawford is bigger, stronger, and faster, and meaner, and all this other stuff you're saying, and he's going to F Errol Spence up, why are you anticipating negativity? Why are you anticipating people to not give credit to Crawford? Why are you anticipating not giving a dang about what people say if you should care? Like, I've never heard this from, let's say, Deontay Wilder. Wilder knocks people out. I've never heard before the fight, oh, I don't care what people say after this Dominic Breazeale fight. Because he in his heart knew he was going to knock out Dominic Breazeale, and he did it. So there's no reason for him to have been pre-negative before the actual fight. I don't know if you guys follow me. Just to give you guys an analogy, because this is Unpack. We Unpack coming to you live. If you've been an upstanding employee at your employer, you don't just wake up typically and say, I hope I don't get fired today. I hope I don't get written up today. Why would anyone do that if you're employee of the month, your sales are up to par, you have 0 write-ups, you're always punctual? There's no reason to be pre-negative. I can't think of a reason that you would be negative if you know you're handling business. You know you've been super productive. You know your sales are up, etc., etc. I've never heard that. I've never heard someone go into their day with a negative outlook when they know they were about to get busy, right? I've never heard like a Kobe Bryant say, man, I don't care what y'all say after this Lakers game, because he knew he was about to put up buckets. So to me, like I keep saying, it truly sounds like a lack of confidence from my vantage point when it comes to Team Crawford. It doesn't seem like, it sounds like they're almost hoping Terence Crawford can get this one done more than, like wishful thinking, more than they absolutely are willing to bet everything in their bank account that Terence Crawford gets this done. Even if you look at this interview with Bomac, he's looking shifty-eyed and he's not even like making eye contact with the reporter. And if you're into psychology, that could be one of the signs that people show body language wise that shows deceit, that shows someone's like unsavory or untrustworthy. You're conducting an interview with a person, you're doing this fight hype interview, and you're looking all around the room and like it just doesn't scream confidence, right? If you're doing an exclusive interview and you're looking all around the room, it doesn't scream confidence. Like if you go to a job interview and you're like, yeah, I'm the best person for the job. I think I could, make this company money. And you're just looking from left to right, panning, looking all around. It seems weird. And this energy, I don't specifically recall it for any other fight to Errol Spence. So something has got to give. Something is not right here. Something is awry to me. And somebody got to be lying. And we're going to find that out July 29th. They keep saying Errol Spence really ain't it. He's just basic and gets hit too much. But it looks like Crawford is trying to pull out all the stops, gain weight, pack on size, But what they're saying is not adding up to anything else. Like they're saying Errol's basic, but it looks like Crawford's training his butt off and packing on size, which I want to finally finish with. Bomac says as Crawford moved up, he's getting bigger and bigger. He's getting bigger. He's getting wiser. The great part about it, going into this fight, his ring IQ is elevated and his weight is elevated in the right way. Now, again, this is just my opinion, my vantage point. We unpacked. I truly feel like Crawford gaining a lot of weight. You guys see Ugas's eye, right? The more weight you gain, you have to be good and prepare for a 12-round fight. So you truly have to be ready to go 12 rounds in the event that you can't stop Errol Spence, right? So you have to carry this extra weight, and I'm just curious to see how Crawford will do. In addition, if you're on the up and up, there's no PEDs or anything involved, gaining weight, you usually lose something, like speed. It's harder to bulk up and gain weight and increase your speed and be faster. Like just think about when you were a kid. Were you a faster kid when you were a little kid that weighs 75 pounds or as a grown man that weighs 212? You were probably faster when you were a little kid, when you had no weight to you. So I don't really know if I view Crawford bulking up and adding weight and doing these things as a benefit, because again, when it comes to Errol Spence, he doesn't have to do any of this stuff because he knows he's a big, strong welterweight. He doesn't have to have a bodybuilding contest. He doesn't have to prove through his physique. His physique is going to be what his physique is. He doesn't have to prove that he's a strong welterweight. He doesn't have to maintain or uphold an all knockout welterweight resume. That's been gone. He didn't knock out Mikey Garcia, didn't knock out Sean Porter, and didn't knock out Danny Garcia. So he doesn't, I think the pressure's on Crawford. Crawford's the guy with, the lacking lower opposition on the resume. Crawford is the guy who has to add the weight, which could slow you down, could slow your speed down, slow your legs down, make you more of a sitting duck. People keep saying Crawford is slick like he's on like some Pernell Whitaker, but if you have zero legs because of a vicious body attack, if you're being neutralized by a jab, all of which Errol Spence has been known to do, then on top of the weight, the added weight, you might feel flat in the second half of the fight. So I don't, again, know that getting bigger and bigger is the key. You look at a guy like Jermell Charlo and Derek James, a guy who I really respect in the sport of boxing. Jermell Charlo is moving up to 168, 2 weight classes. Derek James already told you that the game plan for Jermell Charlo is to come into the 168-pound fight probably around 163 or 164 to maintain fluidity and to maintain movement and not necessarily try to go blow for blow with Canelo, but instead to be a boxer puncher and box smartly against Canelo. Canelo's already naturally been fighting at the higher weight class. See, a lot of people, they keep saying like, oh, Charlo's bigger. He has a bigger frame. He's taller, but he's been crunching down to 154, and now he's moving up to 68. Canelo has several fights at 168. He's undisputed at 168, and he's even fought a couple fights at 175. So he's definitely shown and proven at the 168, 175. He showed he could take a punch in this division. Jermell Charlo hasn't. So I think it's a brilliant game plan by Derek James to not try to go tit for tat like Kell Brook did and come out looking like Colossus, but then you still get stopped by Triple G. So you look at Triple G's body, it didn't look like anything crazy. And then you looked at Kell Brook, he's doing all this stuff. He was going to these UK labs and, you know, all these advanced sports science and sports medicine industrial gyms to bulk up for a fight with Triple G. Triple G just had to be who Triple G always was, and that's just him. He didn't care how his body looked. He already knows that he's strong. So Kell Brook and Triple G, even though Crawford has all knockouts and has been fighting in the welterweight class, I kind of look at it in the same way because it looks like Crawford has definitely added muscle mass. He got with the snack program and he's added muscle mass, and clearly as he's gotten older, he just looks bigger at this division, you know? So they're saying it as a positive, but I don't really know that to be true. Again, Derek James told you the game plan early that he's going to try to keep Jermell Charlo light, under 165, like 163, 164. But interesting approach. It seems like they want to be durable, Team Crawford, and add weight for a fight with Errol Spence. But that, to me, is not the guy you want to have a shootout with, and he has better fundamentals and a better defense, and he's naturally bigger. So just like Triple G versus Kell Brook, yeah, okay, he looked like more body beautiful, pause, but at the same time, he still got stopped, and his eyes shut, and his orbital fractured by Triple G, who just had to beat Triple G. And that's the same thing Errol Spence. Errol Spence really just has to maintain his weight and do a proper weight cut, and then he already knows he's strong. To me, it looks like Crawford and his team, they're adding size to almost prove a point. Just like the media day, doing the hour-plus media day. It's like almost for show, like you're trying to prove a point. Errol Spence kept it short to the point. People seen his heavy bag work and his mid work, and they're like, okay, he looked good, and then he left. He doesn't have to prove that he's a strong welter. The world of boxing kind of already just knows he is. But to me, it seems like a lot of showy stuff from Team Crawford, and it just seems like they lack some real confidence. We'll see though. This Saturday, we unpack. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxingego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.